his designation as chief.
Morning, Jun.
John, maayong aga.
Jun Feliciano.
Gandang umaga. Maayong buntag.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Buenos dias. Worldwide yaman. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Global. Everything is global now. So, what's
Actually,
cooking?
John, before you came over, we were talking about birthday celebration. No?
How?
Birthday celebrations where health protocols were, sabi natin na
Broken.
Broken.
were not followed. What? So, we started with that celebration of Mayor Magalong. Was the, tawag nito, yung
Mga artista doon.
Celebration, the Yap Akel
yeah, we're
doing
Magalong
the
acting dito.
celebration.
Sa Baguio.
Magalong is the, chief of the,
Chief of the tracing.
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 Magalong was formerly with the military, right?
He was a
military.
retired general.
Retired
Before he
General
became
Magalong.
mayor. Then another local issue was the birthday celebration of Munshi, John. Munshi de la Cruz ba? Yung councilor natin. Which was also criticized by some sectors na walang daw kan, there was violation on health protocols. Walang face mask ng iba, walang distancing. But anyway, sabi naman ni Councilor Munshi, he asked permission from the secretary, that he will have a very simple celebration doon sa opisina niya. So, wala namang masama doon, no? You can celebrate your birthday without a party. Di ba?
Yeah.
You can celebrate a birthday without a party. Meaning, yung mga close members of the family ba? But since Monsi is a former priest, maybe he does not have so many relatives in some mga, so he has to invite his friends. But sa akin, that is not an issue. Di ba? The issue to me is, Monsi for governor for the newly created sa mga precious sa province.
The issue,
That is, I think that is the most important issue.
The issue, Rex, about Monsi, he ran as councilor under the ticket of Beng, but now he is opposing Beng. Hindi ba yun?
Bonzi is our good friend, but when it comes to you issues, no friendship. We don't compromise at all. No. One time when Monsi was campaigning, there was one question that was coming from the civilian sector. And I'm sorry, I think he got peeved by that question. I asked him straight. The people are asking Monse, if you were able to leave God, don't you think you can also easily leave the people? Well, that's the question. And he couldn't answer that. He couldn't answer that. Oh, he couldn't answer that. So those were issues that I hope all our political leaders won't get on your skin. Di ba, sir?
Yeah. Right. Anyway, we have mentioned about Monsi's political experiences. No? He ran for mayor sometime in 2004 siguro. No? Then he ran for congressman also, but he failed to make it until he ran for councilor. So meaning the fellow has the intention really to serve the people of Zamboanga City, but he was not given the opportunity for the first two attempts that he made. So ang natin dito, the fellow is has that good intention to become a top leader of Zamboanga City. But anyway, sa experience natin, we have only two former councilors who became mayor.
Si Agan.
Agan and Mayor Bing. Agan was a former city councilor. Mayor Bing was a former city councilor and vice mayor. And they were the only two who became mayors later on. Di ba?
I think three. Bini Atilano.
Si Bini.
But he was not elected. He was, he's through succession. when June Enriquez was elected as Assembly, member of the National Assembly or
Si
Regional
Bini
Assembly.
ang
So,
mayor.
Bini succeeded.
Batas
I
ang
think-
pambansa.
Yeah.
So there were only 2 elected mayors who were former city councilors.
I think 4. Herbie Fabian.
No, he was not elected. He talked about...
Elected. Oh, yes, yes.
It was
yes.
only after the death of
Yes,
Maria.
yes, yes.
In fact, the late Aranyas was also a mayor for few months, no?
Yes.
After the term of the late Mayor Agan.
Uh,
But talking of election, there were only 2 who were elected
I,
officially.
yes, yes, only 2.
So talagang mahirap, no? It is not
Ganun.
easy to go to reach the top kasi we are like a pyramid, eh. Ha? Habang tumataas ay lumiliit. Pagdating sa dulo, isan lang pwede i-accommodate, di ba? But if we invert the pyramid, yung sa taas, dito sa baba, so, many people could be accommodated in the political position. No, di ba? Inverted pyramid ba? So, ang malaki doon sa taas, maliit dito sa baba. I think that this is solution to our problem sa mga city where many of our people, elected officials, are really aiming to reach the top. But since they cannot all be there at the same time, we have to look for a place for them. I think the proposal of the creation of the province, I think that is the answer for all our elected officials to be accommodated. We will have, for example, 8 mayors, 8 vice mayors. So, 16 sila, accommodated na sila lahat. We have a governor, we have vice governor, we have the board members. So that will accommodate all of them. Di na sila magdalatsokan papuntang taas sa isa lang position ng mayor. Di ba, John?
yes, that's very correct, no? Because it is only through a province or many of these ambitious political leaders can avail of these posts as mayor. But as of now, I don't think they can realize their dream to become mayor because they have their party bosses. It is only through the creation of a province. If you want to be local chief executive, even in your own home place, like Bitali, if ever there will be a province, Bitali is the forerunner to be a town. So I think my good friend Mike Calabar can aspire there as mayor. And then let's go down to probably Sangali, Warkuruan, the Perezes, the Siasons. There are good materials who can also become mayor. Then in Taluksangay, the Nuños can also become mayors and even governors. You don't have to fight one another to, juggle or wrestle for a position. Just like now, everybody is trying to already, vie for mayoralty seat. But there are regulations in their own parties, especially on the camp of Congressman Lobregat. Do you think you can impose your own will there that you want to be mayor? No, you have to follow their party rules. But if we have a province, there is no hard. No, I think you can really fulfill your dream to become mayor, because there will be, I think, at least 8 possible barangays that can become municipalities or towns, and each town can very well have its own local chief executive. So there are a lot of positions if ever we vie for that idea.
Well, actually, John, that is a very good proposition. So that our elected officials who are really aiming for not only for political positions, but aiming to serve the people, aiming to develop some mga, I think that this is the proper time for us to perform their ambitions. They join politics because they want to serve, di ba? They want to serve the people, they want to serve the community. But since all of them are aiming for one position, which is very impossible, no? So why don't we give them a chance to be accommodated in a province where we can have 8 local chief executives, we'll have 8 vice mayors, as I mentioned a while ago, and we have the governor, and all of them, all councillors now, or all elected officials now are qualified to run for governor. They can run for governor, vice governor, mayor, vice mayor, board members. And our barangay officials have also a chance to become councillors, municipal councillors in their respective localities. So there will be a fast-tracking development in the different barangays where they have been neglected for the past 84 years since Zamboanga became a city in 1936. That is my observations, John and Ed, no? Since
Yeah.
1960s. Since 1960s, I've been traveling pagalian to Zamboanga up to Basilan. And there were no developments in Zamboanga City as far as the barangays are concerned. Whereas in Sibuga and Zamboanga del Sur, they have very fast development because they were municipalities or towns under a province. Dito sa atin, what is the chance? What are the chances of barangays to be developed if they will remain under the city of Zamboanga?
No, very, very difficult, very difficult. We are congested here. Even the congestion of Zamboanga City will be affected. If we will create the province, the congestion will be no longer exist.
El problema lang gataki, the problem here is that if that idea does not come from them, it is very hard to be implemented. That's the problem here. Credit pa.
Kanalya ba?
Si hindi sasali kanila, no sa kaya niya insinya sa kanila. Sabi naman kita, na hindi ka tese pwede implementa. Kaya hindi man sa anda kanila, como credit kanila. After credit lang, hindi after rabla sila. Para bien for the general welfare of the people. Kita sa klase mentalidad. Kay public servants mangga kita. Pero tiene de eso, kasi yan negosyo na politika. No ay kayo kita. Suerte.
But anyway, we have identified only one solution to this traffic congestion problem and overpopulation in the heart of the city. And that is the creation of a private 10 kilometer radius outside of Zamboanga City proper. Maybe this proposal will not be implemented immediately, but I am very sure that after our lifetime, this will be implemented because this is the only solution. Otherwise, what will happen to the city 5 years from now? Matagal ng 5 years eh. Right now, we have 150,000 vehicles. 10 years, 15 years, if we continue to sleep in our if we continue to sleep in the Pansitan, the local officials are sleeping, the people will also be sleeping. Nothing will happen to us. We will have a serious problem 20 years from now. We will have 2 million people, and how many vehicles we will have in the city. So let us not wait for that. As early as possible, we have to plan out and implement the solutions all these problems. Mabutan, hindi na valid yun, hindi natin mabutan. Basta importante na they will implement it, at saka for sure, that will be implemented later on kasi that is the only solution. Kahit na hindi na natin mabutan yun, grandchildren.
Yes, there's no way but to have it realized in the very near future. Pero as of now, el kabesa destos hindi ali. Taman positioning niya ganesos. They are already, positioning themselves that this one will run for mayor, this one for vice mayor, this one for congressman. Ali la pensamiento. No hay más na gente. Ansinas na ojalá tiene kita new breed of political leaders in the future, makin hindi na jura until jaton lifetime. Pero man-realize ka tese, kaya na Davao gani. Pili lang kita ta-mention na Davao, kay alina Davao, antes, the biggest city ka, largest city ka in the world, Davao. Diba? The whole Davao City ka, until finally, yung partition Ikaw na ba silang city ba antes? Yung partition, queda bien progresado. Na, aquí na Zamboanga, no sabe qué manera kita procura kita reina entero kayo del ciudad. Pero no pwede man kita alcanza el yato na ayuda ng mga far-flung areas. Pobre ang mga ente. The only way is to reach out to them. hindi na kita man reach out. Kahit sila kasi, el beneficial, if ever, hindi estos hambre, yaton mga local leaders. Hindi ba greedy? Tapensa lang sila para di ilabyan. Tapensa lang sila de aura solusyon. Hindi tayo futuro. O hala, kwanta man sila? Visionary ba? Hindi ba, sir? Hindi, asa ara, tangkod na so, di lang aura for 2022. Nogat ka mo apri, baka ay deklara si Duterte, Noel. Your dreams will just vanish in the air because we cannot read the minds of our president. Este aura ko sa tapasara, pandemic ki, man-made disasters, talipa, ana. Ali ka mo.
Well,
Why
actually,
hindi yung mga sueño?
if we recall, sa mga peninsula was only one community before, like Davao. But Davao was later on divided into provinces, and so of course the city of Davao. Sa atin dito, we have only one peninsula before. But in 1936, Zamboanga City was created, separated from the Zamboanga Peninsula. And Del Norte at that time was the province. But because of fast increasing population, Senator Lim passed a bill creating another province out of Zamboanga del Norte, and that is Zamboanga del Sur. That was in 1952. That's why Lim will never be forgotten in the history, in the annals of history, because he was the father of Zamboanga del Sur. He was considered as the father of Zamboanga del Sur. So what happens? Now we have 3 provinces in Zamboanga province before. We have, of course, the latest was Zamboanga Sibugay. And all these provinces, all municipalities under these 3 provinces are progressive. All the barangays before the creation of the province were barangays, but now they are progressive municipalities. Wherein our barangays in Zamboanga City, starting in 1936 up to now, are still barangays, and people are there suffering. They pay their taxes to the city. The city does not return the taxes paid by them to their respective areas for development. The concentration of development is only here, right in the heart of the city, while the barangays are forgotten. So the only solution to this is make these big barangays a locality or a town or municipality, so that they can have their own town officials where they can be attended to every day. They will see their officials there, and there will be a faster and easier delivery of basic services, and the development will be faster if the local officials are coming right there in the area.
Hasta el value del property nila man increase pa.
Just like in Vitali, people there and even sectors, even one came here, complaining about the alleged massive illegal mining, illegal quarrying, whatever there, illegal pouching, the mga trucks. He already came here and brought to the attention of some of our leaders, but until now, according to that same source, is still unacted upon. If we compare it to become that place will one day become a town, they can easily address those problems. But right now, do you think our leaders will go there and attend immediately? I don't think so. So until now, unacted upon. Amo lang siyempre sa mga alleged happenings sali. No attention given. Kay pwede man gayud. Pero si Chene, sila dilam own local government unit ali, dapat Chene sila dila chief executive, they have their own governance. They can attend. Kay di ila si type, di ila si concern sila. Pero aura, ken man si kaso kanila. Por eso, aura, anak. Tali siyempre daw, rampant siyempre mga allegedly, mga alleged active. Pobre man mga gente. Na, you see,
Sino complain?
disadvantage.
Sino complain dun?
Si sir. Hindi ba, napunta dito, sir?
Yes,
Isa.
there was a time.
Until now, according to him, unacted upon. Nakiganin kasi Konsehala Aljihan. You see, because of this set up now, very hard to immediately mobilize there. And it's very hard to find any proof accordingly. But si Kene sila dila on governance pwede sila cross monitoring si Teberasan Kene allegedly massive mga illegal activities. They can easily detect doon, di ba? Ken ba siya man pinpoint? Pero ora ken man nasik kaso.
Action na yun, action.
Action. You see the disadvantage.
And isa pa dyan, we have 16 elected councilors who are all interested to serve the people of Zamboanga City. And they can be accommodated in the creation, in the province if created. They can be local officials there, they can be, sabi natin ng mga, they can be vice mayors, they can be mayors, and they can fast track the development of the different areas. And instead of serving only the heart of the city, where all of them are all here in the heart of the city, they can expand the development to different barangays. I've been traveling from Zamboanga to Pagadian for the past almost 60 years, and I pity really these barangays along the highway in Zamboanga City area, because while the municipalities, while the barangays, former barangays of Sibugay and Del Norte, Del Sur, were their contemporaries. Now they are progressive municipalities, while Bitali, Coroan, Sangale are still barangays. Taluksangay, Ayala, and Labuan. So the people, in fact, from the East Coast and the West Coast are planning to petition the national government that their area there will be annexed to the adjacent province so that they have a chance to become a municipality. The only way to become a municipality is if you are a part of the province. So, Bitali district, for example, if annexed to Sibugay, Bitali could be a municipality. The same is true in Labuan. They could be a municipality if they are under a province. But as long as they are under the city of Zamboanga, there is no chance for them to develop. There is no chance for them to improve because they will never become a higher government unit. Right now, they are all the smallest government units in the community. So the only way is to promote them. Of course, we have to create a province and promote them into municipalities so that they can expand, they can progress, and they can develop. Wow, how about Basilan, John? I think another example is Basilan.
Pause.
Basilan Ara, 11 munisipyo. When it was newly created, there were only 7.
And compared to Zamboanga City, bien jutay el Basilan compara con Zamboanga City, and yet Basilan, they created the province, and now they have 11 municipalities.
2 cities.
Whereas here, we don't mean that we are advocating for the creation of the whole Zamboanga City as a province. Taman, kuanya gani kita emphasize, este ahora existe 10 to 15 kilometer radius will remain as a highly urbanized city. Pero ali outside, para pwede agayot alcanza kanila el real progress and development to be done by themselves. Kay Kenya sila dila local government unit. No pwede sila alcanza kung esi dila aspirasyon para kada munisipyo unless kreane kita probinsya. Nadepende ase kung diaton local government ahora, especialmente kung estos dos kongresista diaton. Pero no hay manesi na dila radar ahora. No hay gayot.
No hay gani sila
No hay. Pero what I gathered that any congressman, not really from this place, can also attend, can also
Sponsor.
file a bill in Congress, diba, through our initiative, even from any non-government organization siguro. Kay derecho sa del yaton vivientes para haber any congressman, not necessarily from our two congressmen here, members of the House of Representatives, can bring this to the whole of Congress and act on this. Kay ese lang debe kita considera para haber tenía real progress and development, sintiya sila progreso, y mejorías ali afuera, outside. Pero conforme está pobre sus mga gente, ta suprisos. Para versus benekina pueblo, gasta pasaje, de pelega aquí, hindi pa siguro atende kanila derecho. Too hard for them. Stressful. Very, ay, hable con ustedes. So, ojalá, considera también kita, el boss del gente, hindi lang boss, kita ko sa mga kita, kay kita, we are talking for in behalf of the majority. Ansi na naman kaya pa man konversa, sino uno del mga sektor. It so happens, kita lang man ta konversa, a voice in the wilderness.
Pagbabago.
Oo.
But anyway, you mentioned about not necessarily coming from the seat of Samanga yung our congressman or
Proposal.
legislators. A congressman, a member of the party list congressman can pass a bill because the congressman, the party list congressmen were elected at large throughout the country. So any one of them can support the proposal of the people of Songo City to create a province. And if we go back to the history of Songo City, there was already a divorce history of Songo City. Why? Because in 1936, when Songo City became a city, Basilan was a part of Zamboanga. Basilan, if you are from Lamitan, Basilan, Zamboanga City, they were all Zamboangueños in 1936 when Zamboanga City was created. So, because of neglect, as what you said, John, our local officials in Zamboanga City cannot go to the far-flung areas, especially in Basilan. They will not go to Tuburan. They will not go to Tipo-Tipo, Maloso, and other barangays there. Their concentration was only in Zamboanga City. That's why Basilan was divorced in 1948. Basilan became a separate city. And when it became a separate city, there was a sign of progress. But to further improve the progress of Basilan City, it was converted into a province in 1973. So, when it became a province, there were seven, no? Initially, there were seven municipalities. Created. And as they progress, two cities were created, Lamitan and Isabela. And additional municipalities were created. We have now a total of 11 municipalities in Basilan and two cities. You can just imagine. While Zamboanga City, the barangays of Zamboanga City have remained a barangay up to now. Bitali was much bigger than Lamitan in 1960s, bigger than Ipil, bigger than Imilda and all other municipalities, and bigger than even Kabasalan. But when Lamitan became a municipality, when Basilan was converted into province, Lamitan has progressed and now a city. Compared with Vitali, it's contemporary. They have the same era before, no? And Vitali, when it was a barangay, they have similar era with Lamitan. But when Lamitan became municipality and eventually a city, Lamitan is receiving 500 million a year, no? 500 million pesos era from the national government or internal revenue allotment. While Vitali, which is still a barangay to now, I think they are releasing from 10 to 15 million. And yet, that money is accumulated here in the city proper, where development in these farmlands are neglected. So, as John said, the people have the right to demand for to fulfill their own destiny by making suggestions to other congressmen that they can pass a bill to create a province so that they will also become a municipality and eventually they will become cities if they progress. That is the only solution to this problems in the city, traffic problem, overpopulation problem, and that is the creation of a province maybe 10 to 15 kilometers away, as what John said, no? So it will not be converting the entire city of Zamboanga into a province, but away from the city of Zamboanga, let us say 10 to 15 kilometers. That is the problem. That is the proposal of the Pagbabago.
I think there is one person who is accordingly aspiring for a top position here, also espousing for the creation of a province, although in his own different manner. No? Ito daw si Rolando Makasait.
Head of the GSA.
Rolando Makasait, who is the chairman and president of the GSIS. He already came out in public that he is for the creation of a province. But the difference here, as we learned, that he wanted the whole Zamboanga City to become a province. I don't know if I'm correct. So whoever probably will run in 2022 has a big chance to win in the outskirts, because these people will go for that, because that's the only way for them to progress in their own places. Right now they are selling their lands because there is no one who can probably help them get out of poverty. So hindi lang kita solo. Imanade ali tama ta pensea que bonito si klase si deberasan kita for public service. No makita manambre, no makita precura reina entero ciudad de Zamboanga, when in fact we cannot. It is very difficult, impossible to give progress equally. Kaya aki lang ang progreso na sentro, di ba? It's only here kasi to the point na congested jagat el progreso ki hindi na mo. Dol hindi nagata mo. Hindi na practical pone ki pone mola ki mahmali traffic ta kita. Kaya po na SM aliyo na hindi ba yaman monstrous traffic ali. O wala yan aprohaw yaw.
7:37, ano? I would like to greet my friend, my compadre Roger Tan, a friend, thick and thin. For the past half century, we have been friends up to now, no? Well, anyway, he is a very simple and humble business leader of Zamboanga City, and he even corrected me when I mentioned last week about the New Year celebration of October 12. Sabi niya, no, it is February 8. So meaning, he was really listening to our radio program.
Good morning, good day,
up to the point that he even corrected me about the date of the New Year, Chinese New Year celebration, which will be on February 12. But anyway, happy Chinese New Year in advance, Pari, Roger, and to all our Chinese friends. John mentioned about the, yung kanina John, the only solution to this traffic problem is not necessarily the conversion of Zamboanga City into a province. Mr. Makasait, we have a similar proposal, but we can trace this out, no? His proposal is the entire city to be converted. Our proposal is only 10 to 15 kilometer radius of Zamboanga City, and while Zamboanga City will remain as a highly urban city. So we have that similarity, but that could be easily traced out if we met him personally. And I know he will change his mind of having the entire city of Zamboanga converted into a province instead of only creating a province 10 or to 15 kilometer radius away from Zamboanga City. What do you think, John?
Yes, hindi lang siguro Mr. Makasait. Among our good friends in the council, like Konsehal Bong Atilano, is also buying the idea. In fact, he was the one who expound more when we were invited there. And then I think, of course, Jerky Valesco is also really for this. That's why he was the one who made it possible for us to be there in the council. So thank you, Kun Jerky. También, I think, si Consel Sang Jimenez is also thinking of supporting this in the future, because it was he who said we need more, like get the data as to what is the present population of Zamboanga City now, something like that. So that means they are really now serious thinking about our advocacy.
In fact, yun, Councilor Jimmy Villaflores has publicly announced that he is in favor for the creation of the province 10 kilometer radius out of Sonoma City. And I know that there are a lot of other councilors who were only silent at the time, but at the back of their mind, they know that that is the only solution to these problems that we're having now. And another thing is that they will be given a chance to improve or go up while there is a province, because they can run for any position in the province. We have 8 municipalities, we have 1 province. So many of them or all of them could qualify to run for public position or higher public position in the province. As provincial commander, as vice provincial governor, board members, and mayors and vice mayors. And that will even give a chance to our barangay officials also to become councilors, because we have several barangay officials in the city or in the barangays where it will be converted to the province, and they have also a chance to go up, not on just like barangay, not just barangay captains, but they can be
Councilors,
municipal councilors in their respective
vice mayor,
municipalities.
mayor.
So they can help in the development of the municipality or of the community if they are there as councilor, not just merely a barangay official.
Apart from Councilor Bong, I think Dit Macaron is also thinking that this is a good idea. And then BP Alago, the others. But the problem with them is that they are still under the political bondage of their party. So they cannot do it. Under the bunal pa sila, no, pa Timora, baka nila na, hindi mo pwede kada miyembro del Japon partido by 2022, siyan sina boss, paulugin, at sina magita. Crab mentality ba? So they cannot vouch this idea very well as of now, no? So mula siyempre si Dila ko na Rawego by 2022 el Dila immediate concern ali el problema resa lang kamo kaya hindi el presidente deklarano well
No election.
na este caso uncertainties kita ta imprenta
Very recently, sabi
cuanto
ko,
eta murió ahora por causa del pandemic.
very recently it
después-
happened in Myanmar.
Oh, no pwede kita sinata. Por eso nga anay pensa de ese. Atende anay ko ng mga bibientes. Go to the far-flung areas and find out whether they are for the creation of a province or as is. Ang
Let's
sinas
think about the vaccination first.
Ha?
Vaccination.
Oo, manada pali. Pero sila, mamucho na politika yaman. Tamang position niya. Este o, kore daw mayor.
Vaccination, anay.
Sa manis. Hindi na umahin si klase. So,
Well, anyway, good morning to my brother-in-law in Lamitan, Arnold Mateo, and all other in-laws there in Lamitan. Because, I have been assigned in Lamitan for quite a long time, and I have a lot of friends there, especially during the outbreak of rebellion and at the height of rebellion. So, if Zamboanga City proper will remain as a highly urbanized city, it will further improve yun, no?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if Zamboanga Precious, as the case maybe is created, definitely there will be development and improvement in the outskirts of the city, and that will contribute further to the progress of the city, because Zamboanga City will remain as the trade and industrial center and educational center. So it will be an outlet and in 3 points of all neighboring provinces of Sibugay, Basilan, Tawi-Tawi, and Sulu. So it will further improve and it will further progress, rather than just to remain as a city in the entire 1,800 square kilometers, where the barangay, far-flung barangays are neglected and have no chance to develop unless they become a part of the province.
right now, because of these disasters, continuous raining, if we compare to a place being a town already, después ahora barangay lang sila. Mira ko sa Tapasalina, Talisayan, terrible because of the supposed substandard projects o KLO, tiene un factoría, ta continua man daw reconstruir kay kuan ese puerte daw el cuando ese leverage ali kay tiene man daw ese permiso. So they cannot decide well. Kay el kene ese kuan akin na city hall lang gayon. Pero si tiene sila taon ali munisipyo under perhaps Ayala o Makinkenali kay 8 lang ate ese ta mira kita que tiene que da municipalidad si tiene kita provincia. Pwede sila attende bonamente li, tiene sila di la on planning, municipal planning, tiene sila di la municipal engineer's office. Siyempre, hindi sila man-allow sucede siya sina klase ta sucede kanila. Pero ahora mira tede si pwede sinada tali ta sumido ta kedael.
Ongoing para construction na kaljun, yan opos na si Kuano, Macron.
Pero doon may manggayot ko nali. Doon mo lang manggayese siyempre kaya dahil mga gente I really don't know el status ka dese kaya doon in conflict ese el legal office ka kidiaton for it to kaya dali daw ese kaya industrialization yung industrial zone niya man daw ese. So we are in a quandary o ko sa bagat el real status ay problema mga gente din na kadisaya.
Kaya si Litlit Macron man yun, no?
Pero mira tedes ese cosas na pasa. Pero si tedes si munisipyo li no sila se puede resolver bonamente di la problema. Pero ahora mira tedes complicated el ruling ali.
Saka isa pa Ed, it will improve our tourism industry.
Yes.
We have
Tourism.
very potential tourist spots in the 11 islands,
Correct.
and that could only be developed if Taloqsangay is already a town or municipality. So that, kumbaga sa kwan, matutukan ang development ng 11 islands. As of now, we have the so-called 11 islands, but it has remained as 11 islands because they cannot be easily developed because of lack of supervision or lack of planning by our local officials. But if there is a mayor in Taloqsangay, they can have a very serious study on how to develop these 11 islands so that it will become not only domestic tourist, but it could also become a foreign tourist spots. So it will help the improvement of our tourism industry.
Correct.
And if that will happen, siguro mga gente na Taloqsangay, siyempre leadership pali, ng mga nunyos man. Sa Sakulay lang, pwede sa kada igual na Mactan, kada sa even airport. Diba?
Yeah,
siyempre, airport sa international airport, tapon naman daw sa along the coastal areas.
Si.
Sa manadagat potential ko na ki abla sila for development. El problema ki el leaders jaton. No sabi akilang manese parochial mentality. No ba?
Tarde ka del Zamboanga.
Manada. Hindi ba sir, mayroong modernization program ng AFP. I remember when I was in SIL and that was in the 1990s. I was covering Southcom. There was this modernization plan that the facilities of the Naval District Command will be transferred somewhere in the 11 islands so that place can be well secured from lawless elements. Ibonito era. Pero it did. Why push to say? It was there in the modernization plan of the AFP in the past. I could still recall that. That was...
man realize yun, ha?
Talilangan isa siya. Pero kay... Kanya siya. I mean, small kasi.
Walang
The
plan.
city is... Yes. I don't know if you
Yeah.
came to know this.
Lahat na nandito. We have the Navy here, we have the Air Force,
Yeah.
we have the
Dasukan.
Army, West Mintom. All the universities are here, all the colleges are here, all the hospitals are here. So, we are becoming a very enlarged heart, ba? Kumbaga, our heart has enlarged to the point that it will become a disease. Tama yung sinabi mo na I heard about the proposal of transferring the Navy to Sakul.
Oh,
That will expand the development.
yes.
So while we have now the airport, pero ang problema, how many square meters have already been bought by the government so that we can construct an airport there? Before we can construct an airport, it should be owned. The land area should be owned first by the government before any improvement could be introduced.
I haven't heard any latest development on this. Kasi siguro they realized they couldn't do any more. They realized kay manadali mga tereno doon nyo, yak ka kaya bende-bende daw. Now how can you construct an airport si Chenely Kuanya benido ya? Hindi ba?
Yeah.
So they, accordingly, I don't know if this is correct, if this is true, according some of the lot owners there have already sold their
Property.
lands to interested parties. So, por eso, kalyaw na sa sitio, Laura. Siguro yan mira sila. Kay, oh my God, very slow in acting. Very slow. So, we haven't heard them talking about putting up transferring the airport to that place anymore. Doon kalyaw yan sila. Otra plano dila.
Well, actually, no, ganito yan. As early as 1980s, there was already a plan to transfer the airport. Unahan pa tayo ng Iloilo. 1990, I was assigned in Iloilo na transfer ang Iloilo Airport from Mandurriao to the province of Iloilo and the municipality of Santa Barbara and Cabatuan. In 1992, the airport of General Santos was transferred from one small area to the 700-hectare area in Uhao.
Cagayan de Oro.
Cagayan de Oro in 1995 was also there. It was transferred from Lumbia to Lagindingan. But if the local officials of Cagayan de Oro City were selfish and greedy, they will not allow because they will lose revenues and by transferring the airport to another area. But anyway, they have imagination that if the airport will be transferred to a bigger area, they are the ones who will be benefited because people can easily travel from Manila to Cagayan de Oro via itong big airport in Lagindingan. So, there is a benefit ba? At saka, they have that imagination and anticipation and that long-range planning and they were creative. Not only thinking of Cagayan de Oro City, but if the neighboring province will be developed or become progressive, they will also be benefited. They will also become developed and progressive. So that is the imagination and anticipation of local officials who have the ambition to further improve their local government.
The problem here, sir, is that we are very good in planning. Pero planning lang, stage. Pero hindi kita actua immediatamente sa plano. Manada ko sa pasa, kung si plano kaya I heard, el plano daw, hindi na kabatangan transfer ko na City Hall, ali daw somewhere in Mercedes. Pero how can we realize that as a plano dyan, delay. Hindi kita aktwa. Kaya sa mga hindi tayo doon del terreno no pwede kita keep them waiting forever.
Akil gani Jun,
Depende sa dila terreno
Akil gani Jun yung conversa kita na council about the creation of the province. Dapat sila man move, el next move will come from them. Di ba?
Yeah, technical working group should be...
Technical working group must come from them. Pero they can always ask us to assist them.
Por eso, hindi sa dila topmost priority ba? Na planning stage lang yan. Pirmi lang plano lang yan.
Kasi gani overpass. Ese overpass mo gani kabastara.
We need our officials to be decisive. Hindi yung atras abante. We have to be very decisive and anticipative. These are the qualities of local officials that we need so that Zamboanga will move forward. Otherwise, we will remain stagnant.
Good plans always. In fact, they even hired si Palafox.
Palapok.
Planning niya también. Bueno. El problema.
Eh, sa airport na ito, niya durega
Ya gasta kita kaya kung palapos, gasta kita kaya milyon pa man.
Palapos.
This fellow, architect ese, will not come here unpaid. High profile again. So, gastos, sendalhentes eh. Pero hasta lang plano.
At plano lang.
Hasta plano lang ese. Gasta ka tayo sa syudad.
10 million.
Pero kahit man lang, pasikat lang ba? Oh, porma, pasikat, kahit tali, imbita, kung apala po, pero may ninada siyempre. Gastos.
Paano ma-implement yung plano ni Palafox na we cannot destroy all these buildings that are there already so that the Palafox plan could be implemented, di ba? The Palafox plan could have been expanded outside the city proper, but not right in the heart of the city, because when Palafox came over, there were already universities, colleges, hospitals in the city proper. So, magandang plano ni Palafox, kaya lang hindi ma-implement kasi there are already existing establishments. So, the planning should be expanded outside the 10-kilometer radius of Songo City. And that is the creation of a province where municipalities could also be created so that all our elected officials could be accommodated. Because they are all interested to serve the people. They are all interested to serve the community. So, give them a chance. Di ba, John?
That's the problem with us here. Very good in one only. Grandstanding pa. Oh. Na bueno, si hindi kita tagasta ko sa mga hindi. Tagasta kita ko na Jesus. Kaya hindi, lang, posing lang. At least, yan invite kong Palafox, yan sinal, planning, tali. Tali lang. Oh, yan pwede implementa. Even in the time of Mayor Agan hard. I don't know. It cost us 5 million. At the time, 5 million is 5 million.
It was Palafox already.
Palafox, okay. But when Agan was no longer there and the Lobregats came in, it was set aside. Oh, the Lobregats cannot deny this because they did not implement the master plan that was conceived and hired an expertise at the cost of 5 million accordingly. Because of political difference. And they came up with their
The
own.
idea does not come from them. Yan ang problema.
Oh, see? Who is at the losing end here? Dahil mga hente, tax-paying public. O, ali lang kita tanwes datun sen. Oh. Well, that's the problem here in our city. Hindi pa tama na tune. Akilera, continuity, there is continuity. Ali, bonito era, mira kita, kay making cosa, political color sila, pero para bien del pueblo, continuance sila. Pero hindi, bata ba, di kaya ba klase politika, liba kina sa buwangka, na, sabi amang kita, de hambriento ba, costumbre de español ese, igual con este tikio, oh, hindi ba? Kasi klase de hambriento, libad politika ki, de coupled with money, nanoy mas, aquello que quiere correr no hay sen, ni nagad gana.
Hindi ka na.
Nisita man tutoy-tutoy ko na party leader sali, kasi hindi man tutoy-tutoy alin, hindi ko saka. Mamana ito eh. De verasa na ese, no kamo bandina ese. Ken mamaro ali saka. Ken nakil hindi para kuha na hindi no hay chance, maken bueno. Pero si mama to, pinito gali, asaita ba? Asaita? Ana, number 1 to nadap.
At saka, that is maybe the reason why some of our political leaders are not in favor of making these barangays progressive, because just like the Spanish mentality, Spanish colonial mentality, they want the people to remain poor and ignorant so that they can easily be manipulated, especially during election. Di ba, John?
That's it. Por eso, dua kita kulit mga trapos. Bukay kita kami, no hay maman kami ali. Kay as I've been saying, in fact, the General Mirabita, burido man este kumigo, we are already in the departure area, the Belasan Manese.
Oh, pero wala pa doon boarding pass.
Pero don't you ever
Walang boarding pass. Cancel ang flight.
Go to the cemeteries, all ages ali. Nung kamumumpa, yan, hatakatakan ninyo, ano pwede magkamosinada. Por eso no kamo api. Por eso
Pero
kami kinay kami hidden agenda kami kanda Ferrer, kanda Ifturabin, General Miravite, Jun Feliciano, ay kami para futuro. Hindi kami ambisyoso, hindi igual kaninyo with all due respect. Para bien lang yan si Dino. Pendeada di, kasi kamo negosyo at politika. Ang sige ng kamuse, ngay para bien del pueblo. Ara ta konversay kamo politika etamen, politika, postisyo, etip, para bien. Mira kamuse, kung sa klase kamo, tadali uwi ko na gente. Ay gani kamo pa, you don't deserve. Kaya may gani kamo kasi bueno con el pueblo de Zamboanga. Kuchinada, bolere del camino. Si ese mujer pase, musay ko sa klase, abak kita ko ng mujer. Boleret. Yan ang muli ng mga kanedalwa. No, ikaw mo atende. No, sis guerra, llama attention del water district del mga DPWH. No, ikaw mo kerer. Ara, talya tayo ka mo, kere tayo cover ka mo mayor, buisit ka mo.
As early as now, there are a lot of them who are already, campaigning.
Planning for the next election.
Kasi ka mo, hindi ka mo.
Campaigning already.
Por esto taro ka el Duterte, deklara era Noel, revolutionarya, kita ka ninyo na posisyon ali. Ay ka mo, no ay ka mo sirbe.
That is
Mga pobre tao mo.
John to clear the government of corrupt officials, revolutionary government, regardless where you are a itong civil service eligible or not. If you are corrupt, you can be kicked out anytime.
Pati si kamutaga sa mga 1,100 senior citizen, 1,000 pa. Dahil hindi si Sen, hindi di nyo. Pendehada di nyo. Dahil hindi si Sen, hindi di nyo. Por eso naman kamabla kay di nyo sa tadali kamusan na senior citizen. People's money si. Doon na kumusta ka para dali. Di nyo, packet? No way! People's money si.
Tama, John. Marami pang pira ipamigay nila pero wala ng oras.
Yan. Naman ka mo man onion skin ali, man onion skin ka mo li, man
Hindi naman nila
pikon.
pira yun eh. Ha?
Hindi, sasendi nyo.
Tapos they will use it as
Pampang
capital
kamali.
for... ang problema lang naman sa ating mga mamamayan, they can easily be, tawag ito, fooled ba by the promises of our people, of our politicians, using the money of the people to get the votes of the people.
Pati sinsilyo lang manese, mas grande, talya na bolsa di nyo. Masya ka mo.
So, there is a need really to look for a potential leaders who can look after the welfare of the people, not for their own pocket. But anyway, it's already 7:08, John.
Okay, so...
Before we went up, your closing statement.
Yeah, okay, nuay aki personalan, na issue lang, tolo ka mo mga barkada dyaton. God bless you ya lang. Thank you.
So, kunakil mga, for those people who are listening to this Pagbabago program, we will listen again this coming Saturday, and we will be having this program the same time, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay.
This program is live on Facebook and YouTube. And this is actually hosted by volunteers, no? Albert Cajon, Ibno Corabian, Ed Ferrer, Attorney Tongo Climaco, John Feliciano, and yours truly, Rex Mirabiti. Thank you very much for watching, and happy weekend, and good morning to all of our listeners and watchers and viewers. Thank you, and good morning again.
El de con todo suena claro y vapor sa estación de radio na entero Weste Mindanao. RPN D Triple X Radio Ronda Zamboanga.